Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another point of view video. This time I'm presenting the brand new Suzuki Across. So yeah, anyway, let's go for a drive. As you can see, the light is fading, so you may not be able to see too much in the interior, for which I do apologise. Right, so let's pop into D. Just wait for this car to come past. Cars, I should say. Okay, whilst I'm waiting for that, let me talk you a little bit about the car. So yes, this is the new Suzuki Across. This is the brand's first plug-in hybrid SUV. As you may have seen, it does look very similar to the Toyota RAV4. That's because this car was made in conjunction with Toyota. That's why the looks are very similar, although the front end is a little bit different. Hopefully I will be released from this little junction. Right, there we go. I can exploit the car's power, of which it has quite a lot. So, with this being a plug-in hybrid, it has an engine, of course, but it's got not one but two electric motors. One powers the front axle and the other one does the rear. That means this car has got four-wheel drive. This power is put to the road using a CVT gearbox, which actually isn't too bad. Regular viewers will know that I'm not a massive fan of CVTs, but as CVTs go, this one isn't actually too much of an issue. Now, yes, those two electric motors and the engine, which is a 2.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol, combined they offer 306 horsepower, believe it or not. That means this sensible, practical family SUV will hit 62 miles per hour in just 6 seconds. That's faster than a lot of hot hatches. That is incredible stuff. Of course, you're more concerned about the economy. That's why you're looking to buy this car. Or maybe you just want to watch a video about this car and not actually looking to buy it. Anyway, that aside, on a combined run, Suzuki claims, get this, 282 miles to the gallon. That is incredible. 282. That is astounding. You can also drive this car on EV only for a range of up to 46 miles, which is better compared to its rivals. It also has a lower BIK rating compared to its rivals, just 6%, as opposed to 10%, which is what you'd find on the majority of its rivals. As you would expect, this car does have a very low amount of CO2 emissions, 22 grams per kilometre in fact, which again is better compared to its rivals. So far you think, oh blimey, Suzuki have done well with their first ever plug-in hybrid. Well, I'm afraid there is a problem. The price. Now, I hope you sat down for this. This car will cost you £45,599, and I'm sorry Suzuki, but for one of your SUVs, or indeed any of your cars, that's too much money. Suzukis are all about being well priced, good value for money, cheap and cheerful. This is far from cheap and cheerful. Now, I get this has got a plug-in hybrid system, it's got a good amount of tech and kit, but I don't think there's going to be that many people out here that will want to spend that kind of money on a Suzuki. Now, for what it's worth, if you wanted to get the RAV4, that will cost you around £2,000 more. So this is cheaper than a RAV4, but still, I wouldn't say it is a cheap car. Anyway, what is it like to drive? Well, not bad in all honesty, but it is a mixed bag. On the one hand, it's quite pleasant and refined. Okay, when you so let me hang back and actually work the engine a bit harder. The engine does get a bit boomy because you do get that typical CVT rubber band effect, but for the most part it is civilized. Yes, okay, I'm doing almost 50 and you can probably hear a bit of tyre noise making its way into the cabin, but this car is wearing 19-inch alloys. In all honesty, I thought the tyre noise would be worse than this, so I've got no real complaints with it. But yes, although this is quite an easy car to get on with, the ride does ruin things a little bit. The ride isn't a disaster, but it's quite fidgety, unsettled and somewhat brittle. It will be disturbed by potholes and divots in the road, and and you can feel the chassis kind of shuffle a little bit. So there's definitely room for improvement there. But yes, as I said, this is an easy car to drive, and it's quite responsive. Thanks to its 306 horsepower, it's got a bit of brawn to go with its brain. It's not to say this is a driver's car and that you're likely to get a lot of excitement or involvement from this car, but the power is impressive, it certainly is. Now let's touch upon the handling. I'm sure for many of you that's not really an important factor in buying this car, but the handling is pretty good considering the size and weight of the vehicle. I have seen some people criticise it, but I've got no complaints. Yes, you do get that rather inevitable body lean in the corners, but I would expect that, and it's no more than what I was expecting. The grip is okay, it's just competent. I think that's the best thing to say about it. The brakes perform well, but I am a little bit disappointed you can't choose the strength of the regenerative braking, so I would have liked that function. But you do have different options in regard to how you can drive the vehicle. So for starters, I've got 3 driving modes. So I've got normal, which is what it is in now. I've got eco for obviously more economical driving, or I've got sport if you want something a bit more racy. Now when you put it into sport mode, of course it sharpens the throttle and it makes the steering a little bit heavier as well, but let's put it back into normal for the time being. Now speaking of the steering, the feedback isn't the greatest. I would say it feels a little bit elastic, and what I mean by that is it can feel a little bit too eager to self-center. And also when you put it in sport mode, it does get heavier, but the weight does feel rather artificial. As well as these 3 core driving modes, you've also got options on how you want to use the car's powertrain. So for example, you can pop it into auto mode, which I can't do because I've got no EV power left. You can drive the car on just engine power alone, which is what I'm doing now because as I've said, I've got no charge left in the battery. Or you can drive it in EV only for up to 46 miles, which I think I may have mentioned earlier. We've also got a charge mode, so if I hold this button down here, there we go. What is happening now is, as well as powering the wheels, the engine is now charging the battery. And this is a really good function if you haven't got the time to go and charge the car, or perhaps you're in an area where there isn't any charging points, which in the UK isn't really going to happen that often. But let's say you're in the, I don't know, just for argument's sake, the Highlands of Scotland, just as an example, where it's quite remote. You've got this function to fall back on. You may have spotted the orange light, that's the blind spot monitoring. This car also has rear cross traffic alert as standard. Now actually let me speak about the kit, because this car does have a lot of it. So I've got keyless entry, front and rear parking sensors, reversing camera, 19-inch alloys, privacy glass, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, heated rear seats for the outer. I've got dual zone climate control, a 9-inch touchscreen with DAB radio, Bluetooth and smartphone connectivity. Annoyingly, there's no navigation, so that's quite stingy, Suzuki. I've also got the digital display in front of me. So yes, this car is not wanting for kit, although, like I say, it could really do with sat-nav. I am disappointed that Suzuki has omitted that feature. I would like get your words out, Aaron. I would like a panoramic roof in here as well, because everything in here is black and dark, and it would be nice just to have a glass roof just to make the inside a bit more airy, you know, just give that sense of space. I wouldn't say this car feels claustrophobic, but it does feel just a little bit dingy, particularly as, well, obviously I'm now driving at kind of dusk, kind of night time, and yeah, it just feels a bit darker in here than I would like, despite the time of day. Now, as you may be able to see, I've now regained 1 mile of EV power where the where the engine is charging the battery. That's good. Now, I spoke about the standard kit a few moments ago, and I touched upon the heated steering wheel. One weird thing about the interior, Now, where do you think the button for the heated steering wheel is? Do you think it's somewhere down here near the heated seats? No, it isn't. Do you think it's somewhere down here near the climate control functions? No. Okay, maybe it's down near the gear lever. No, no, and no. Where it actually is, let me just get a bit of straighter road so I can actually look down and still maintain safety. Okay, this bit's a bit straight. No, the button's actually down here by my right knee. Just why? Why did they think it would be a good idea to put the button down here where you can't see it? Also, the button for the high beam assist is also down here, yet the button for the traction control is right here next to one of the heated seat buttons. Now, personally, I think it'd make much more sense to swap the traction control button with the heated steering wheel button. I don't understand how it got to a point where that button has ended up down here. These complaints aren't directed to Suzuki, they're more directed to Toyota, because this cabin it's purely Toyota. The only difference between this and a RAV4 is the front end. The front end of the Across, it looks different to the RAV4, but beyond that, and of course the addition of Suzuki badges, the two cars are identical. It's mad how this car has got this amount of get up and go. Really impressive, it really is. And the rain is beating its way down onto the South Downs. Well, don't think this part is actually technically the South Downs, but I'm not far from that area. Oh, that engine's getting boomy. The joys of a CVT. As well as offering a pretty generous amount of kit, I've not really touched upon the safety too much. Now, I did mention the blind spot monitoring and the rear cross traffic alert, but you also get 6 airbags, autonomous emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, speed limiter. What else haven't I mentioned? You get a sway detection function, and you get hill hold control. So pretty good safety features. In fact, this car was awarded 5 stars by Euro NCAP. So if you're looking for a plug-in hybrid with a plug-in hybrid SUV with a good amount, a high amount of safety, then the Across may be the car for you. I'd be honest, I don't quite know how I feel about this car. It's not a bad car, but it's just really difficult to ignore that price, and certain things just really irk me, such as the lack of navigation. Yes, I know you've got smartphone connectivity to fall back on, but I just find it really cheeky how there's even a button on the touchscreen marked map, and you hit it, function not available. I just think that's mad how it doesn't have sat nav. Not too sure if I mentioned it earlier when I was talking about the specification. I think I forgot about it. But this car also has an electric power tailgate, which is hands-free. A good function to have, but I would argue its operation is a bit slow. It may become irritating if you're in a rush, or if it's raining like it is now. If you're stood there with your hands full of shopping bags and it's peeing it down, I almost swore then. If it's if the rain is coming down, you've got the kids moaning at you. At that point, you may think, oh God, why can't this tailgate just open faster or close faster? LED lights also come as standard. Again, that wasn't another feature I forgot to say. The lights are very impressive actually. Very bright, very clear. I must admit, the first time I drove this, which was at night, yes, I was impressed by the lighting power of the headlights. You may have spotted this has also got traffic sign recognition, which is good. I'd argue it's a feature that a good driver shouldn't really need, but it's handy to have just in case. Let's touch upon the visibility. Visibility is pretty good. The wing mirrors are quite large. Seeing out the rear is absolutely fine. I would like the rear view. So I would like the window to be a little deeper, perhaps, but that's a personal complaint, I'd say. Visibility over the shoulder isn't fantastic because, of course, you've got chunky C-pillars. I would turn around and do that, but you probably can't see much by this point. I will wrap up this video soon. Problem with filming in the winter in the UK, you just don't get enough daylight. But I wanted to make sure I could film this video for you guys. So yes, I know it's not ideal filming it in the dark. You probably can't see much of the interior now, but I'd rather bring this to you than having no video at all. Apologies if my head is bobbing. Like I said, the ride is unsettled and it is a bit bumpy down here. The road is uneven. But hopefully the stabilisation is better, because I'm actually using a brand new GoPro, the GoPro Hero 9. This is actually the first proper use I've done with it, so this will be a good test to see how it performs in the point of view situation. In case you're really interested, what I used to use was the Hero 5 Session, but I'm sure many of you don't really care. Now, going back to the CVT gearbox, you can actually pop it into sport mode if you want something a bit more lively. I wouldn't say that particularly improves it. And you've also got flappy paddles on the steering wheel, so you can take control yourself. That works okay, to be fair. Wow, that rain is really coming down now. I'm just pleased I've got nothing else to film outside the car. Otherwise I'd be getting rather soggy right about now. Right then, guys, I don't really think there's much else to bring to your attention or to cover in this car. And as you can see, it's pretty much dark now, so I doubt you can even see that much anyway. I'll tell you what, let me just quickly put it in here so I can do my conclusion. So yes, there we go, guys, the brand new Suzuki Across. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.